One thing I do as a senator for Hoosiers is I travel and visit all 92 of our counties every year. I've also invited any Hoosier to come visit me in my hometown. When you do that, you get a lot of good input. And I can tell you that a few issues, and Ms. Cannington, you and I had just talked about it earlier, and you said they all kind of intersect, but high cost of health care in our state is a big issue. Access to it, how we spend our education dollars, which is the main responsibility of most state governments. And then you've got rural broadband in states like ours, and then the other thing, affordable housing. So how we get there in terms of getting all four of them to be in the sweet spot of what one can afford is probably the goal that should be mostly the responsibility of states because they live within the framework of a balanced budget generally and are more sustainable in what might be there for future generations. It affects housing affordability, all walks of life, including older adults and people with disabilities. Under the Biden administrations, Americans are less able to afford a home than practically any other time in our history. And a lot of times things we do here are well intended, but you cannot do it by borrowing from future generations and dumping the amount of money we did into the economy. It's created inflation, which is a tax on everyone. And gosh, look what it's done to affordability. Spending policies, I think, have exacerbated an already unaffordable housing market. In 2021, when President Biden did take office, the average or the median home price was $369,000. Now it's $430,000. And if you're good at math at all, you know in just that short a period of time, those are huge increases per year. Mortgage interest rates, which were around 3%, are now a little over 7% on a 30-year mortgage. That is pricing all kinds of people out of the market. Housing inventory. We know we need more of it. I hear it all the time. Even companies back in Indiana are trying to figure out how they can weigh into it. Estimates say the U.S. is between 3 and 6 million houses short of what the market needs. Many factors contribute to it, including regulatory burdens, both federal and state, infrastructure costs, supply chain constraints, largely maybe created by how we navigated through COVID, workforce shortage, the number one thing I hear pre-COVID and post-COVID, and overall increasing costs of materials due to inflation. I think the solutions to all of these are probably left best to the laboratory of the states. And here, we ought to minimally have a guideline of regulations that are going to help not make it even worse. Federal government, I think, too, can help generally on the main drivers of an economy that folks are wondering, what do we have, by not spending and borrowing more, because you don't need a macroeconomics degree. That creates inflation. We did the exact opposite of that. I think we can get back on track. Another issue is when he signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law, which issued billions of dollars to encourage states to update their energy codes to the 2021 International Energy Conservation Code. I believe we got to be conscious of climate. We want to make sure homes are built to where they're going to spend less on utilities, but not when it creates an upfront cost that even exacerbates more the affordability issue. So sometimes when you want to do something, you got to make sure you get the timing right. And now we need to aspire to that, but we shouldn't mandate it. Here's another issue. There was recent a ruling that the average American credit score is over 716. Interest rates have gotten higher, and now we've had a ruling that punishes people that earn good credit scores to help subsidize others. I think that's a wrong way to accomplish maybe a goal that is noble to help those that need help affording a place to live, but not like that. This is passed to overturn that rule by a large bipartisan vote in the House. I'd like to see that occur in the Senate too. Do look forward. Sometimes we're at odds in terms of what we should do, but there's always practical legislation in the middle, and I'd hope that we can have those conversations that get us there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ranking Member